GM. Welcome, everybody. We are live. We are live on X, on YouTube, Twitch, and well, we're also live streaming on X, but we're also in this space. It's a very odd thing. It's weird. It can even happen, but here we are, testing out these fun tools we have. I am Creatress, wherever you're watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is our show. There's layers to this. I just realized that I have to bring somebody else up. We need to bring up Unknown Pedestrian so that I can stream. And this is our show. There's layers to this. I just realized that I have to bring somebody else up. We need to bring up Unknown Pedestrian so that I can stream. And this is our show. There we go. All right, cool. So now we have good sound for the live stream going. We have to do a bit of sound magic to make this thing work, but we figured it out. So without further ado, this is season 3, episode 5. We have a special guest, Jaden Violet, today. We'll be learning a bit about him. Super excited about that. We have a few Web3 news as always, and we'll be getting his take on the Web3 news as well. And then we have a fun little collectible that I put together using some CCO art from the cryptodes and the nouns. And so you guys can collect that. It's free mint. And yeah, so before we get into it, a little bit about me. I am a 3D artist, but really I'm a multidisciplinary artist. Started with ceramics, graduated up to glass, glass design, glass blowing, jewelry, oil painting, watercolors, just all the things, right? I love to try new tools. Now I'm really focused on 3D sculpting and VR, and I'm also pretty focused on AI artwork. In the past about 2 years, I've been minting art made with AI. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I could go on, but check out my profile and learn more there. I'm going to send it over to my beautiful co-host, Miss V Dizzle.
GM, am I coming in okay? I got this crappy T-Mobile Wi-Fi at this new place. I got to switch it up, but are you guys hearing me okay at least?
You sound great. You sound just fine.
All right.
What? Yeah, I think they're doing okay so far.
I mean, I guess T-Mobile's holding it down for the spaces at the very least. But last night I was trying to stream Fortnite and play gaming, the Fortnite, and it couldn't handle it. It couldn't handle it, and that's what I'm used to if I'm gonna, work on my gaming here and stream and get to hear more from Jaden about what he's up to. The last time I saw him in person was at ETH Denver 2022, I want to say. So it's been a while. And so I'm excited to hear what he's been up to and what he's got going on. But for those who don't know me, my name is Valerie, aka V Dizzle. I started in the NFT space with Gary V. He gifted me my first NFT I won in a giveaway in May of 2021. And I had some crazy WETH offers of $120,000 and up. And I couldn't believe what was happening in front of my eyes. I needed to learn more about what was smart contracts, what was blockchain, what was going on with crypto. And so just like Creatress, I like to learn new tools. So I decided to take a chance on myself and in a leap of faith. And I left my career in sports medicine. I was doing surgery and rehabilitation on athletes. And so then I became full-time in Web3. And so today I founded my own meetup group called San Diego NFT Friends. We have meetups every single month. So if you're down here visiting or even know someone who lives locally, would love to have you or them and introduce you to our community. We do have some panel discussions at our meetups, free drinks and food. So it's a good time. And besides that, I do own my own Web3 event planning and management company called Red Rug Edutainment. I've done events for the NBA for their All Star weekend. I've done events at multiple restaurants, onboarding them into Web3 for Gary Vee and VCon and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that's a little bit about what I do. And currently, what I'm exploring is maybe joining a hackathon for ETH Denver. Creators and I have been talking about it. We're both kind of like non technical. We know about the tech, but as far as coding, haven't really learned it all of it quite yet. So, trying to see if I can join a hackathon with my non-technical skills and see how that goes. But yeah, would love to throw it over to Jaden. Feel free to introduce yourself and how are you today?
Yeah, hello. It is so good to hear from both of you. I think it's so dope that you guys have the entire setup going on right now. I literally actually have it in my calendar because I've been wanting to stream on X, but like my setup is so trash that it just crashes every single time. So like I'm looking at the live right now and seeing how you guys have the spaces and the live stream everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, sad face. But it's just because my Wi-Fi's been shit. It's been shit for so long. I'm just like tired of it. But
Oh man, what's your Wi-Fi network?
what is my Wi-Fi network? I think it's Xfinity. I don't know. It's been so long.
It's trash. You heard it on the spaces. It's trash too.
It's
Oh,
trash.
this is a trash talking space today.
Trash
Look
Talk
through
Tuesdays.
T-Mobile under the
Hello.
rug, Xfinity. Okay. Well, thanks for coming, Jaden. Before we go down this wormhole of trashing cell phone providers, uh, I just yeah, I'm just so excited that you made it, and thank you about the live stream for your comment on the live stream. I do have to say, if y'all are here in the space, you could also watch the live stream, and you can see me and my facial reactions to all of this. And soon, Valerie, she's gonna come on in a little bit, but you can also see yourselves. This is like a real reflective thing, right? You see me, seeing you. I'm looking at all of you, beautiful PFPs, and they're on our TV. They're like on our little TV screen, and I just think that's really fun. So Jaden, anytime you need help, something I was considering doing was offering to stream other people's spaces because it's actually pretty easy to do. So if you ever need help with that, just let me know, or anybody who's listening. And also thank you to everybody who is here with us. Uh, Feel free to retweet the space or the broadcast. I put all the tweets up here. If you want to come up and chat with us, you are totally welcome. I will send everybody one request, one invite to come up. Just like courtesy invite, but no pressure. But yeah, back to Jaden. Jaden, what how long you been in the space? I feel like you've been here for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Looking back at it, it's this is my third year being in like the Web3 space specifically. I've been making music for the past 5 years seriously, 6, 7 years, but 5 years very seriously. But yeah, been in this space specifically for the last 3 years. This is my third year going on to it. I entered at the end of 2021. December 21st, 2021 was my first day that I sent my first DM, which is a very weird and niche fact to know, but I know it. And yeah, I just been literally, in the space ever since. Every single day, honestly, I don't think I've gone like one day in the past 3 years not like at least opening up my Twitter app, because prior to me entering into like Web3 crypto Twitter and stuff, I never even used Twitter. I actually like really hated this app. I never was on it at all. And I realized that, okay, if I wanted to get into this space when it was early, I need to just suck it up and get used to it. And now this is like the obsession of a century. Like I cannot get off of this app, and I need to force myself to go on other apps to make content there, right? Which I can just talk a lot about. But yeah, I'm a musician. Oh my goodness, guys, that's scary.
Sorry. I meant to. I should have warned you. I use the soundboard a lot, so just please go on.
Nah, I mess with it. I mess with it. I thought I abused the soundboard. Also, you were playing the Twitter music in the beginning, and I've never heard the beat drop on the Twitter song because usually I that beat drop, and I was like, okay, like I was low key vibing. I was like, yo, this is low key, like I need to save this in my playlist or some shit. But yeah, I'm a musician, first and foremost, creative. I am also the founder of Underground Violet Rave, which is simply put a community of super dope people. We throw raves at different conferences, art conferences, Web3 conferences, and then we also hold spaces online. And yeah,
And yeah, okay. That sounds like a good intro. Okay. Let's talk about the Web3 news, okay? And Jaden, please feel free to like jump in on these. You're like our guest correspondent. Imagine like we're on a talk show or like a newscast, but not like a stuffy, weird one. Like a young, chill, like, you know, cool newscast, you know, about Web3. Okay. So, and you're our guest commentator, right? Like you're a guest expert, expert on music and whatever else you're an expert on. But to me, you're the music expert, just so I know. Just so you know. Okay, here we go. So, first thing on the news, it's the Farcast craze. Uh, there's been an uptick in people signing up for Farcaster in the past week or so, it seems. I should have played that at the beginning of this, but um, yeah, I've been on Farcaster for I don't know how long. I'm not sure that it tells you the date anywhere. It's pretty cool if anyone hasn't tried it. It's like a decentralized social media app, a lot like Twitter. However, only certain people can post videos right now, and only you can make channels, which are like topics, right? And you could own a channel, and then you could you could have like a Raver Realm, channel, for example, Jaden, or just like a Ultraviolet Rave channel. And then it would just be like content about that. You could
Well, you're on mute. You're on mute, creatures.
Oh wait, how did that happen?
Wait, did we lose creators or did you guys lose me?
No. I was trying to multitask. I just joined the live stream, and somehow, as she was pulling me up on the live stream, it muted her Twitter. It's kind of weird.
Okay. Wait, can you hear me now?
Oh
Yeah. I hear
snap.
you now.
Okay, weird. Um,
Wait, I can't hear her. Let me step down and come back up real quick.
Oh
oh,
no.
how odd. That's so
Yeah.
weird. So I'll continue with the Farcaster while Jaden resets. Um, Here we go. Let's bring him back up. Okay. So yeah, Warpcast. Okay, so here's something for you guys to know. There's two separate things that we're talking about. We're talking about Warpcast, and then we're talking about Farcaster. Now, if I have it correct, Warpcast is the network, right? That it's all built on, and Farcaster is an app that was created, kind of like on top, kind of like a DApp, maybe, right? I guess technically. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think there was a fee to make an account. What's actually really interesting is on Coinbase, for anyone who uses Coinbase, not endorsing them, but I'm just saying I do use them. They have these little bounties you can do, and one of the bounties they had was to make an account on Farcaster. And so I went and did the bounty. I think I paid like $5 or $7 to make my account, and then they paid me like $12 or something. In like I don't remember, but it was kind of cool, honestly, that they're onboarding on Coinbase for Farcaster. It's kind of wild. So yeah, what do you think about this, Val? Did you hear about it, Jaden? I think I saw that you joined. Was that today?
Yeah, you guys can hear me right now?
Yeah,
Yep.
can
Hear
you hear
you.
me?
All right, sick. Okay, so I got a couple of thoughts. So it's first it's the other way around, right? So Farcaster is like the network, and then Warpcast is one of the apps that are building on top of it, and that's kind of like the Twitter lookalike. I am very unknowledgeable about this. I just want to put that out there first. I do have a lot of thoughts because I feel like I just have thoughts about everything, but I'm probably not the best person to give like educational, shit on this, but I definitely have my thoughts, right? Because I joined today, and what's really interesting, right, is if anyone was on Lens, it's very similar to that, right? Like Lens is, something on the broader protocol level, and then apps, are built on top of it, like Lenster, which is like, Twitter for Lens. There's like Orb, which is like A, B, and C. There's a bunch of apps that are built on top of Lens. So it's very, very similar to that. The only difference, in my opinion, right, that I've seen with Farcaster is like the rate of growth that is occurring right now. Like every single day, there's new milestones that are being reached and stuff. And I think it's I think it's really cool to see. But what's really interesting, right, is about 5 months ago, right? Creators, when did you join Farcaster, just for context?
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm not really sure, but I did look at my ID, right? Because now people are talking about like the ID numbers, and I've got 12,590. So it's sub 20,000, which I think 20,000 was when it hit like that like critical mass point, and everybody's like, Farcaster, But I'm not exactly sure when. I guess I could look back and see when I did my first tweet. I'll report back.
Bet. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so about 5, 6 months ago, I was talking to someone that's they were part of a VC and they're like pretty well connected in the space, right? And they were telling me, right, because I was asking for advice about something completely unrelated, and they're like, you should get on Warpcast, go on Farcaster and start to experiment with a lot of the apps that are happening there, because a lot of the people that are really, really building are doing it over here on this ecosystem. And my 23-year-old self was just like, okay, that sounds good. And I've always known that, like, okay, this seems like a good opportunity, because what I realized, especially in this space, is that the people that just have a lot of money, they have a lot of money because they know a lot of people that have a lot of money, right? And that network like presents themselves with a bunch of opportunities. And the only difference between people, in my opinion, that are more successful than other people are just the opportunities that they're aware of and them actually taking action on those opportunities, right? So it's like, they were telling me about Warpcast back then, and I was just like, okay, that seems interesting, but I just didn't do it, right? And there was no particular reason. It was the same reason why I didn't hop onto NFTs when I first heard about it. The same reason I didn't hop onto TikTok when I first heard about it. Whenever something, new comes, we're just like, our first reaction is just like, I'll worry about it later, until a bunch of people are using it. And then we're like, okay, now we should hop on. But the benefits are always seen when you're very, very early. And yeah, like I just remember not taking advantage of that, because I was just like, I'll worry about it later. Now, of course, today's the day I decided to join. And it's just really cool. Like, I feel like a lot of people are making a lot of connections because they're super, super early to an ecosystem and everyone's so excited to meet each other. Is it going to last? I don't know. It may literally die out next month, but like that doesn't disregard the fact that there's a lot of people that are making like lifelong connections and like really good business connections just because they were able to kind of like capitalize it on the very, very early stages. And maybe that stage is still happening right now. Who knows? Which is why I kind of joined to check it out and stuff. But yeah, those are my quick thoughts. I could ramble on about a bunch of other things that I think is cool. Like you can gift crypto, like in-game currency on the social media app, like, which is so dope. But yeah.
Yeah, I love your takes. It's very detailed and nuanced, and yeah, you're right. We could talk about a lot more of it. For anyone who's not on Farcaster, Warpcast, yeah, it's just like Twitter. There's tons of things to dive into, right? Tons of little nuances that Twitter's got, even with Twitter Spaces. So yeah, it's interesting to see what's going on over there. I did manage to make a frame so that people could mint an NFT, a free NFT of mine, and I made a live stream where I went through the whole process. So if y'all want to learn how to do that yourself, you can do that. It didn't cost that much because I minted on Base. Kind of like the NFT that I made for you guys today. Oh my gosh, we should let me just plug it real quick, guys. I made a free mint. It's a season 3. There's layers to this collectible. I minted it on Zora, but it's actually on Base chain. I'm not sure how that works, but I think it's good for people to learn minting on Base. And if you need a bridge, let me know. I'll show you how. But also, I believe you can bridge free on Coinbase. You can just like swap ETH for coin or for based ETH there because it's like their thing, right? So I think they're enabling people to swap pretty easily. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, this is super interesting. And Val just came on the live stream, so I think she might be ready to give her take on this.
Yeah. If you're watching the live stream, I'm in the ocean right now. I've got the beach behind me. I got my shades on. I got a SpaceX. I don't know. I felt like repping SpaceX today. I love what they're doing, going to space, exploration, all those things. And of course, if you guys have been tuning in regularly into our show, you know that we were manifesting for me to move to the beach And guess what? That manifestation happened. So
Yes.
yeah,
Our last show, Val moved to the beach, guys. And she also had a birthday. I what?
did.
It's
Yes,
been a big week for Val.
I'm lucky 33. Lucky 33. So yeah. Anyways, enough about that. But yeah, I love Farcaster. As far as like what Dan, I think his last name is Romero, right? Dan Romero, was real cool. Like I've been on Farcaster for a little over a year now, and I think there was like a little bit of a like, oh, everybody get on like some decentralized platforms, because I think this was like when the transition was happening with Elon taking over Twitter, and like people were unsure about the network of Twitter and, you know, it not being decentralized, because I think like they were having network problems where Twitter was kind of like getting shut down, not shut down, but not working as it normally does. So people are like, oh my God, where are we going to go to? And I think Instagram was having issues too. Like there was a time where all these social media platforms were having issues. And that's when people are like, let's go to Lens, let's go to Farcaster, you know, whatever else. And so it was pretty cool. I reached out to Dan because back then you had to have invite codes. And I didn't know anyone that had an invite code. They were getting like taken real fast. And I reached out to Dan himself, who is the founder. And he's like, yeah, sure thing. Here's a code. And I thought it was pretty cool how responsive he was, especially for like all the craze at that time. Even now, I see him on Twitter, obviously engaging with people, trying to onboard them, you know, into Farcaster or Warpcaster. And I think that like it's cool though, also how he's not like very pushy. I feel like if people are ready and they ask him like, hey, I need some help, or hey, how do I do this? He's more than willing to help. I've seen him do that, which I love. I don't like people who are pushy and get very, very shilly. Like I don't see that from Dan at all. I think he's very, very authentic and really means well. And I think he has confidence and conviction in what he's building, that he doesn't need to, you know, really talk the talk, because he's walking the walk, I think. And so it's super cool to kind of see it a year later now that like it's getting the hype again. And you know, it may the hype may die, but I don't think the idea of decentralized social media is going to die. I don't know if it's going to be Lens or Farcaster that's going to be the next Twitter or whatever, but I'm so excited to see at least there's decentralized solutions for that. I do have to admit though, it's hard for me, even though I have an account, I only have a few followers, I think. Like I have not really explored on the social media just yet, even though I've had it for a year. And part of that is me, because it's hard for me to like do cross platform and post on social media, right? Like it's also kind of challenging for me to think about what can I post that's original on Farcaster that I didn't post on Twitter, right? You don't like, I feel like I don't want to post the same thing all the time. And so that can be a lot of work, especially if you're not like, you know, all about social media. Like I'm not on TikTok, you know, I rarely post on Instagram. And so I just feel like it's kind of tough, but I would like to get over that hurdle um, eventually. And another thing that I think is pretty cool, that's a telltale sign that like Farcaster is where it's at, is that Vitalik Buterin himself, creator of the Ethereum blockchain, he is only on Farcaster. He is not on Twitter anymore. Ever since they launched Farcaster, he made the switch. And so if you really want to see what Vitalik is up to, what he's posting about, he is only on Farcaster. He does not post on Twitter anymore. So I think that's pretty cool.
Wow, I didn't know that. That is interesting. That's very interesting. I would say that's a bull signal for Farcaster, but who am I? I'm not an analyst. Um, but hey, I saw my good friend NFTP and our also our guest next week came up, so I want to see if she wants to weigh in on this before we go to the next topic.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Well, first off, I would be more impressed if Vitalik didn't, if he just completely deleted his 5.1 million followers on Twitter. That would be a statement. But saying he's not here, he's still here. He's still here.
He's just not
really,
speaking up. He's
well,
just
no, but my point.
lurking.
See, one thing with the whole I've been on it too forever, and it is the whole thing is that it's on base, which is not so decentralized, and it's ETH based, and hopefully things will change. But yeah, I think, I think it's good. One of the things that like you just said, I think Valerie was saying, like you post and there's like a few different, very low following. So the translation, I think, of a lot of us in this space have been working really hard to build networks, and then all of a sudden they disappear as we migrate, like, having, 5 or 6,000 followers on Clubhouse. And then they decided, no, this is interesting. This is interesting. I was thinking about this. So Clubhouse, they now, they don't do the follower thing. They're friends. And so I went from having 6,000 followers to 1,700 followers, 1,700 friends. So only the people that you follow back are included in your number. So the idea of, like, are we a number based, are we really this, are these really real people that you follow back, and that is your true network, right? So it's really interesting, because if we could take, like, I think if we had a system where you could take and have a representation of the different kind of connections and networking you have on different apps, like it would say Twitter following, it would say this, and if it said, whatever, you could coordinate a way, and then who you are here, so people know who you are, kind of in the sense of the building aspect. Not that I think it's necessary, but it's really interesting. It's really interesting because it is, at the beginning, Forecaster was like, you're posting to 50 people. So you're like, well, I can post again over here. Here I've got like almost 15K. So I'm like, well, okay, is that my post for today? Like, no. So, and to speak to Gary V's point, he said, I couldn't believe this. And if we do this, like, is this really real? He said, I think on one of his reels on Instagram, he said, attention is the real, what was it? Basically the real value, right? So basically that's the real value. And that if you want to have success, you should be making 50 posts a day. 50, 50. Like, holy bajoli. I'd never seen 50 posts a day, man. I'm like, I'm lucky if I do 3. But maybe other apps help, right? So this is my point to Valerie. You can spread out a little bit, do one here or there. But even then, I think mine, I mean, I can't imagine 50 posts a day. You really have to be delivering something there. And
No,
hello.
GM everybody.
GMs is
GMs
GMs.
on TikTok.
GMs, post up the gift, GM.
50 GMs a day. That's GM somewhere, right?
Yeah. No, but I think you're totally right. I have heard Gary say those things, like post X amount of time. I've asked him about it. I'm like, are you serious? Like, it's 50? And he's like, honestly, I just throw out a number. But the point is that you want to get people to start posting. That's the whole point. Like, posting multiple times, as many times. And I think that's in a way true, because I kind of seen it here on Twitter. Like, and I think also too, like, it's the algorithms, right? Like, the algorithms shift when you're not as engaged, not posting. And that's what I've seen. Like, when I'm posting, like, honestly, I've posted in a day, maybe I have reached the 50 point or more. And that was like, I don't know. I had this like a few months where I was like, all right, I'm going to try to appease the algorithm and really try this thing. And I was getting a pretty good engagement, retweets and everything. And then, like, I got burnt out. And life happens, you get distracted and you're like, all right, I should have more balance. You don't want to be on socials all the time. So, then engagement went down. But also too, I think it's interesting too about like Threads. When Threads came out, like, everyone's like, all right, let's like do our following over there. Let's rebuild. It's pretty cool. But I think even that's died down. Like people, it's Twitter. I think it's Twitter. Or if you're a picture person, it is Instagram. And if you're like old school, then it's probably Facebook. I think Facebook is great for communities and groups and like finding businesses. So I think each platform has its own strengths, but also its challenges in different ways personally and for like everyone who's using the platforms. Yeah, creators.
Yeah, no, I think this is a pretty good segment here on Farcaster. I just want to cap it off with one more thing before we go to the other stuff. That one cool feature that I did find was that when I shared an NFT that I have, it almost made like a little channel for the NFT. So when I clicked on it, I went and it showed all the collectors of that NFT under it that are on Farcaster because you connect a wallet to it, right? So and so then I was able to go through and follow some of my collectors that I didn't realize were on the platform yet. So that was pretty cool. So point for Farcaster on that. Brownie point. Hang on. There we go. So okay. And then Tiffy, you said Gary. You mentioned Gary, which is a perfect segue into the
Oh, I
next
knew it.
little yeah, you just somehow knew. So the Gary we're talking about is Gary V, for anyone who might not know, the homie Gary Vaynerchuk, as some know him. He just two things. He did two pretty cool things that I wanted to know. One was he did this collab called the Skeletor and Skeleton, and it was this like cool pack, right? It's like a collectible, kind of like our NFT, right? This cool collectible with a physical toy, literally, right? And so those just arrived, it seems like, in people's mailboxes. So there's been a lot of talk on the timeline about that. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, they always have a lot of stuff going on with Be Friends, and we love Be Friends, right? We are both part of that community with Venta VCon, so I like to give them a shout out every now and then. Another cool thing he did was he followed Valerie, which now means he follows both me and Val, and now we got to get our third co-host Tyler, who isn't feeling very well today, but
He
now we
follows
gotta
me.
get. Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
followed me
Yeah.
for since 2021.
Let's go. Yeah, me too, actually. Yes, because we are OGs. Jada, does Gary follow you? Do we have a full stage of people followed by Gary? Because that would be crazy.
Bruh, I've been watching Gary Vee forever, and this man does not follow me, sadly. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get there soon. We're going to get there soon, but not right now. Not right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
not to worry, Jaden, because for those who don't know, I've done events for Gary. As I said in the beginning of my intro, Gary gifted me my first NFT himself. Like, I have a lot of IRL connection as well with Gary. And so it's kind of funny. He never followed me, digitally on Twitter, but I didn't want to push it. And eventually he did. And he apologized. And I was like, I never really held it against you. I understand you got a lot going on. So I knew eventually it was going to happen. Yeah, I know. I appreciated the apology from him. He didn't need to, but it was nice. But yeah, not to worry, Jaden. It's not if, but when.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't follow you yet. But maybe after he sees the rerun of this show, you never know. We are speaking things into existence here. It only took like a month from when Val mentioned that he didn't follow her to the follow, I think, on the show. Actually,
Was he listening? Was he listening to our playback? Dang.
We can only hope. Okay, so next, wait, what was the next?
I did want to comment real quick on the Skeletor and Skeleton. I'm actually really excited to check out the YouTube reviews, because when they started announcing the collaboration with Mattel and Masters of the Universe and the V Friends, I was like, okay, obviously all the V Friends, anyone who's in NFTs is all hyped about this, but I want to know about the real collectors who collect Masters of the Universe figurines and the comics, like, what are those people saying who are not familiar with VFriends? They don't know what skilled skeleton is. They don't really know about NFTs. And if they do, they have like usually a negative connotation. What are they really thinking about that collab? And when I watched those reviews on YouTube, there was like maybe a couple that were like, you know what, I'm not about this. I don't like this. I don't like that it's associated with NFTs. But positively on the other side, there was way more positive review from the collectors, because this is the first time in, I think, over 30 years that Mattel has decided to release a Skeletor figurine, and they get so meticulous about the design, about, oh, he has different facial expressions, like some of the OG expressions. Oh, his body is proportionate. Oh, he has this. Like, they get deep into it. And so they were just kind of reviewing the teaser, and they were excited. So now I'm excited to see, now that it's been shipped to them, I'm going to go back on YouTube and see if there's been any updated reviews on them. And I'll report back, hopefully on the next episode, next Tuesday. I'll let you guys know what they thought.
Let's go. Yeah, let's see if it was hyped or if it's actually really
Yeah. Did
cool.
they like it?
We
Did
we
it
want to know what's
suffice?
really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden, do you want to comment on this before we go to the next one?
I'm just going to hop down because I have to get ready for work, Creatress, and I just wanted to come up and say hi when you invited me, but I'll just listen because it's a work day today.
Yay, we love you, TP. Super excited to have you next week, and always thank you for coming and giving your thoughts. We also had Abel jump up. We'll go to you in a little bit, Abel. Jaden, go ahead.
Oh no, I had nothing to say. I was gonna say that I think this is really cool how you guys like have the news segment, but then like you guys are asking everyone's opinion on each of the news segments, because I haven't seen someone do that. So I just thought it was dope. And Valerie, happy belated birthday, because I didn't even get to say that, and I hope you had a beautiful day. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I got to spend it a little bit moving, but had my dad and my sister come visit me in San Diego. I partied with Creatress's sister, Isabel Isla Artista. We got a little turn. We got a little turn down here. It was a good one. Thank you, Jaden.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys have fun. My sister lives vicariously through me over there in San Diego, being a fun, going out person, being social. I'm social online, mainly. But Val gets to spend a lot of time with her, which is really cool. So yeah, Val, let's see, what was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, okay. The next thing on the segment is just events that we have on our radar, and then obviously just learning more about Jaden. But I feel like we've been kind of like doing a little bit of both, which is what this has worked out well. And I'm gonna talk about these events and also ask Jaden if he's planning on going to any of them. So here's the events that we have on our radar. Now, this doesn't mean we're going. It's just like we're aware of them, and might be cool to go, but you can't make them all. So here in the near future, we have NFT Paris. That's the closest one, right? That's this month. And then right after is Ethereum Denver. And then about a month and a half after that, we have New York in April. So Jaden, I know you've been to at least two of those events before. Are you planning on going to the events again, or what are you thinking about that?
Yeah, oh my God. Like, a lot of people have been asking me about the IRL events, and it's difficult, right? Because I feel like last year I went to, I think, every single one of the events, and not only did we go to the events, but we threw a rave at every single one of the events as well, which was very exhausting. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this year I've been trying to tell myself, like, okay, maybe I don't need to go to ETH Denver and NFT LA and Basel and NFT and all these things, right? Maybe I should just chill, right? So for one, I don't think I'm gonna throw a rave at the next conference, which is NFT NYC, in the foreseeable future. But then again, I always say that, and then we end up throwing a rave. But I know for a fact I am gonna be at NFT NYC just because I'm in New Jersey, right? So it's literally right here. helping a few people run some events, right? Because I would rather do that than throw my own, even though we may. Definitely not going to eat the Denver. I could say that right now. I'm definitely not going because I hate Denver. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different story. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Oh
Breaks
my
my heart. Breaks my heart. Wow. Just like, okay, hang on. I just saw the V Friends just jumped in and I knew I was missing one event on my list. So here's what I'm going to do. I just made a little poll. The post, okay, has just gone live. So there's actually 4 events on our radar, but technically, okay, so we got NFT Paris, we got East Denver, we got NFT NYC, and we got VCon. Now, the good thing about VCon, and I think why I initially didn't have it listed is because it's in August. So you could do, technically, you could do NFT Paris, Denver, New York, and you could do all of them, technically speaking. There's not too much overlap, except Paris and Denver have a little bit of overlap, right? If you were like, very wealthy and had like thousands of travel money, I mean, you could do it. Yeah. All right, fine. Okay, I know I interrupted you, Jaden, but there's a poll up at the top. If you guys could just kindly answer the poll, so we could, accordingly, we'll report on it accordingly. Jaden, okay, so no Denver because why? Wait, you said you don't like Denver? Is it because of the cold? That's one of my reservations with Denver, to be honest.
It's like the altitude switching, and I don't know. Last time I went to Denver, I lost my hearing in one of my ears. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not literally. It was actually kind of absurd. It was like for a month. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, I'm not trying to mess with any of that altitude switching anymore.
wow.
Um,
That's crazy,
yeah.
a month. But that also, you know what? That did happen to my significant other, Keegan, too. He lost hearing, not for a month, but it was for like maybe a few days.
In Denver?
Yeah, because of the altitude. Uh-huh.
Okay, y'all are freaking me out. That's wild. Okay, Val knows that I've been like trying to figure out if I can make it to Denver. I'm like, should I keep pushing to go? Should I just like move my energy to New York? Now you're telling me this ear thing. I'm concerned. But okay, we're gonna move on from that.
But
So
I will say one quick thing. I will say that E to Denver, I happened to actually sneak into the conference because I never registered, so I never got to get a ticket. So long story short, I went through like the garbage garage. You know what I'm saying? After getting kicked out 2 times, I ran through the garbage garage and I got inside, and it was one of the most beautiful conferences that I've ever been to. I think it's honestly my favorite one, because that's the one where I feel like I've made the most meaningful relationships. Like every single person you talk to at the Denver conference, I felt like was doing something really, really cool. So yeah, I had to say something positive because I just went completely negative.
I'm dying. You ran through the garbage. Wait, what?
wow. Wait, I feel like I need to write an article about this. Like, can you imagine like local musician rummages through the garbage to get into crypto conference, ends up on stage teaching the audience. Like,
Dude,
what?
that's when I saw Jaden. Yeah, I saw him on stage, and that's when I got to meet him. That was that time? You
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
what?
that was literally like 20 minutes after.
Oh my gosh, Jaden, I'm sorry.
Crazy.
We're not making fun of you. We're
No, no, no,
laughing
no.
with you. I just want you to
Yeah.
know this is a sitcom.
That's a funny story. We love to share stories on here. So, yeah, if you've listened to our other episodes, we've got some funny stories like that where we like to share. But no, that's cool. Sometimes like that kind of reminds me of concerts too. There's been time before, if you guys know Rosalia, I followed the Rosalia when she was a little bit more underground here for the United States. Obviously, she was already big in Spain, but when she had her first concert here in the US, I didn't have a ticket. But sometimes you just gotta like get in there, right? I kept like trying to talk to the bouncers, let me in, this and that, and then eventually the bouncers felt bad for me, and they're like, you know what, all right, you've been out here already for like over an hour, why don't you get in there and have fun? So I got to get in, see her concert, her first one, and then before that, and then after that she went to Coachella and she blew up. So yeah, sometimes you just got to do that, and if you really want to go and get in there.
Yeah,
Oh
if
my
there's
god.
If there's a will, there's a way every single time. Because what I realized, I was like, at the end of the day, the only thing that's stopping us from getting into the building that we want is literally a human being. You know what I'm trying to say? And if we could just figure our way around that human being, we're good. And like that, you just have to like figure that shit out.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't. I'm not even gonna go into the times that I've, made my way into things. So all I gotta say is that I have definitely walked into a festival without much effort. No climbing fences, none of that,
Wait, real quick though, have you guys seen like those TikToks or videos where people put on like those construction vests and they hold a ladder walking into the venue and they're like, no one questions them because they assume they're there to work, and no one questions them, and they just like take off the vest, put the ladder to the side, and then they just enjoy the show.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it. Yeah, I don't know if I would have the nerve, but I don't know, maybe. Okay, here's a question. Um, okay, so you said New York for sure you have to go. Okay, Jaden. What about VCon? Were you at VCon last year? I want to say you were there, but I could be wrong.
I've been wanting to go to a VCon and I've never had the chance to go to a VCon yet. The one this year is in LA, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that very much and it's in August, which is like a really, really good month for me. So who knows? Maybe this is gonna be my first year I go to VCon. I would love to though, because I watch like the recaps on YouTube's like every single year and I think it's dope.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, you know what?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead, Chris.
Just a quick little fun fact. I was in the VCon Day One recap for year one. Like at the end of the day, they made a little like video recap, and I was in it blowing the camera a kiss.
Oh my
Just had to
God.
share that in case you didn't know, Val and everybody else.
Oh my God, how cute. Just can you do it for us on the camera, like on the live stream? Like what did that look like?
That's too much, Val. You can do it though if you want. But anyway, what were you gonna
No,
say?
Jaden, you have to go. Something that they did really cool last year that I think they might do something similar again is Gala Music was there, and they had a live recording studio at VCon, and it was like really well made, and they even had Jordan Sparks recording in there. And so like, yeah, if they have something like that again, I think it's super beneficial and super cool for artists to go and have like great equipment and record. So, and also too, they had a competition where yeah, people got to vote and then they got to perform on stage for VCon. So it's pretty cool. I know our friend Eunice got to go in there and recorded some songs. So yeah, definitely recommend it. I think they're gonna do something again like that. And I feel like I saw something, VFriends account, if you want to come up, but I feel like they mentioned something about they're looking for artists. Like if you're a musician, to reach out. I think there might be some sort of application, unless I'm getting mixed up with East Denver, if that was something with East Denver. But I feel like I saw something in my email. Either way, I don't think it hurts if you want to perform to reach out to the VFriends email and just say, hey, I'm interested, and share your portfolio or what you got going on. So yeah, I think you should come though, because we're all gonna go. I think a lot of our family is gonna go too. At least mine is, because I got family in LA, and they always hear about all my NFT stuff, and they don't really understand. So I'm excited to like bring them to the conference. Oh, there goes VFriends. Shout out to VFriends. Appreciate them coming in. But yeah, definitely recommend coming.
Yeah, Eunice. Shout out to Eunice. Jaden, you've met Eunice before, right? I feel like you guys have worked together on something.
Like 3, 4 different states at this point.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, I've seen her in a lot of states, actually.
Oh
I think
wait,
I've
damn! I
seen.
don't know if you guys can hear me
Oh,
because I can't hear you.
Tess, can you hear us, Jaden?
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, but you couldn't hear Creatress again, huh? That's weird.
oh, what?
Yeah, I don't
Did
know.
you
That is weird. Wait,
did you hear her right now? She said, "Oh, what?"
that was a good impression. No, I'm gonna step down. Come back.
Oh, okay, okay. Maybe
Oh, the
it's the
Twitter.
network, the trash network that he has, the Wi-Fi.
Okay, let's
Blaming
talk
the
to it
Wi-Fi.
nice. Let's talk to it nice. Oh, Jaden's network. No, I thought you were
Jaden's
talking about.
network.
I thought you were talking about Elon.
Oh,
Okay, you
no,
can
no,
hear me now
no.
again. Okay,
No,
good,
no,
good,
no.
good.
Yeah, we're good now. We're good now.
Okay, yeah, we got to talk nice to these networks and our social network overlords, so that they let us continue doing this.
But it's feedback. I guess we could say the feedback a little nicer, like, hey, it needs to be improved. But they need the feedback.
You're right. Okay, the other thing we're going to talk about was on the events topic still. So, Jaden, you think you maybe will do a rave in New York, or you just thinking like just strictly gonna go be participating?
As of right now, ideally, I want to just go and participate because I haven't had to go to I haven't had the chance to go to a conference yet without hosting an event, so I kind of want to experience just like how it feels to go to a conference and not have to like worry about that, because that takes up just so much time of like, I'm not able to like stay out late and go network with people and stuff, and like I kind of want to experience that. But yeah, as of right now, no. But then I'm getting like pitched different venues and stuff, and it's looking more and more enticing as the weeks kind of progress. And I'm just like, and now my team's also like, yo, like we should do this, and I'm just like, oh my god, the same shit happened last year. So we'll see.
Yeah, I know how that goes. Well, yeah, we'll chat about that because actually we are working on something potentially that we're taking there. We can't say too much. It's all in planning mode right now. But one of the things on the table has to do with a certain official after party. So I don't know. There's maybe Jaden, maybe you don't have to put on your own thing and you just like add on to something that's already being planned by someone else, and you can just show up and be like a star. That's kind of my ideal situation, to be honest, as well, because producing, it's tough. Like, shout out to event producers, is not for the weak. And you're right, then you miss out on the late night networking, which artists, we live for that. That's when we're like our most like attuned. We're talking like ideas with each other. We're having fun. We're finally relaxed. It's just, yeah, I understand. So, yeah, stay tuned for New York. Stay tuned for New York. I think we're probably gonna make it to that one. East Denver is it's very possible, but I need to secure a little more funding to make that trip happen. Let's see, what else are we on? Where are we on the poll? Okay, oh, the poll. Okay, results from the poll so far: 0% going to NFT Paris. There's only 3 people that voted, so this is split. The vote is split. So one person's going to Denver, one's going to New York, one's going to VCon. Okay, so we're not going to see anybody. Just kidding. No one's going to see each other.
Well, that means we got representation at least 3 conferences. I don't know who's representing us at NFT Paris.
Yeah, we need an official. There's layers to this representative. If anybody is going to Paris, let us know. You could maybe you could pass on the vibe while you're there. Nah, just joking. But this is interesting. All right, so it looks like it's kind of like an even split so far. Anyway, you got 23 hours to vote, so get in there and vote if you're going to any of these, or if there's one that you want to go to. Right? I'm not saying you have to go there. I'm not gonna come back at you for voting one way and not showing up. Right? It's okay. It's just a poll. So VCon for sure. I feel like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go to that one. New York, pretty sure. New York is the one that looks the best right now for me. Okay, East Denver is a definite maybe, and VCon is also a definite maybe. So there we go. That's the events section. It looks like we lost Abel, but that's okay. Abel, you can come back anytime if you want. I know we go on these wormholes, but Jaden, I want to talk about your music. So what would you I want to say that I okay, hold on. First I need to say that I watched one of your performances, not at the raves, but at the NFT NYC. Unless I totally made that up in my mind. I'm pretty sure I saw you perform there last year, in like the artist gallery space. I can't remember what they called it. But is that right? Were you there?
Yeah, at the actual conference.
Yeah, like, I wanna say I remember you doing a Justin Bieber cover. Am I tripping?
Yeah, yeah. No, that was my first ever time performing like live acoustic because I never performed like acoustic. But I've always wanted to, so that was like my first attempt at it. Yeah. So yeah, that was me.
Very nice, very nice. I I also, I operate on a higher state of mind, if you know what I'm talking about, and so I sometimes have to just, like, double check that my memory's serving me right, or if I was just having a really hyperactive experience. Actually, honestly, this is I shouldn't tell you guys this, but I'm gonna tell you. I like it's to the point where someone could tell me a story and be like, "Yeah, we definitely did this, and we like with the palm trees in the back and this, and we ate these chips," and I'll be like, "Oh, I guess we did do that." It's to that point. So, anyway, so if I ever ask you for confirmation, just know I just I was making sure. I also do work in virtual reality, so this whole multiple realities thing, it's just it can yeah. So anyway, Jaden, what I know you have a lot of different songs that you've released as NFTs. Like, is there one that you're working on right now, or what's like your latest thing that you're working on?
Yeah, so it's really interesting, right? I think I'm in a zone right now of really pushing the music. 2 months ago, I think 3 months ago at this point, I released this project called Raver Realm. And it's basically my version of characterizing 9 songs, right? So I spent the last year making 9 songs that I'm really proud of and basically turning them into characters by just hand drawing character designs. So it's a 1800 collection, but there's 9 characters, right? So like my profile picture is the character Comeback Kid, but it's also the song Comeback Kid, right? And I basically made these 9 songs and I released it as a big music PFP collection, and that was all in Web3. That was all as NFTs. That was on the blockchain, right? Now it's getting to the point where it's like time for me to actually release these songs on Spotify and Apple Music, which for me particularly, I'm actually very excited about it. Like I love releasing my music on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that, right? Because there's one thing about Web3 that is negative is that sometimes we get too sucked into this technology, especially people that are artists, right? People that are musicians, artists, even people that are generally trying to create their brand. There is a con with being in Web3, which is where, the technology kind of takes you aback and you get sucked too much into it to the point where you kind of, blindside yourself into not realizing that there's billions of people outside of this Web3 niche. And a lot of the times we spend, all of our time, 10 hours, 15 hours every single day catering towards only the few thousand of people that are within this niche that we forget to actually market and push our stuff outside to the actual world. And I have, felt myself doing that all of 2023 with my music, right? I was really like, doing like 12 spaces every single week. And I was doing all of these things, which is, I don't regret it. It was beautiful. But now I have to be like, okay, the NFT project is out. And instead of trying to continue to grow this music within this niche, like I need to actually start releasing these songs on Spotify, Apple Music, and then start to really make content on TikTok, etc., to push this out into the actual world. Which then I think, in the long term will actually benefit the space because then we're going to be bringing more fan bases, more enthusiasts back into this Web3 blockchain world as each of us create our own audiences, right? So now I'm basically just releasing these songs as singles every other week. So I released this song called Comeback Kid, which is the first raver, last Friday. And now 2 weeks from then, it's gonna be the next song, Rockstar Shit, and then the third song, and then the fourth song. And I'm basically set for the next 18 weeks now, just really just going crazy, releasing music and trying my best or working my best to make them reach the masses. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm not gonna release any NFTs or anything. I just want to focus on putting out good music that people can listen to, and then obviously people could keep supporting Rave Realm if they want, but really showing some value to the people that have already supported Rave Realm is kind of where my mind's at right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Val, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, no, that is pretty cool. And in a way, whether it was intentional or not, I think that's kind of smart. I feel like, you kind of fostered your fan base in Web3 and NFTs. And it's, you've been here for a few years now, so you kind of know who the fans are. And so I think now, like, okay, you've worked on that. And maybe in order to work on that, you kind of neglected a little bit of the Web2 stuff. But it seems like now you're going back to that and making sure, like, you're bringing along everyone else, who's going to hold down for you, which I think is super smart, and eventually lead to that balance, right, of having the Web 2 and Web 3 fan base, and eventually hopefully they can all become one once everybody is onboarded onto the new technology. And I think that's going to happen over some years, but I think it's smart. It's a smart move, I think, what you're doing, and super cool that you made these songs into characters. I love the little guy, the comeback kid you have in your profile. I don't know. For me, it's kind of giving me like the gorillas kind of artwork. I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm getting. I think it's super cool. I don't even know what style of art you know call that, but I just love it. And so you hand drew these yourself?
Yeah, no, first of all, I'll touch on your first point, and I appreciate that, right? Because something I've been thinking a lot more about is, you know how every single thing is opportunity cost, and I realized that I gave up posting on other platforms at the end of 2021 because that would contribute to me growing exponentially in Web3. Where now it's like, okay, the opportunity cost of me staying on Web3 for such a long time is not growing in other places. So I have to, maybe do less spaces in order to actually spend some time in other places, because time is so important. And to your second point, yeah. So I hand drew these. I didn't. There's 1,800 unique characters. I didn't hand draw all 1,800 unique. I the layers, if that makes sense. Kind of made 1,800 unique pieces out of all of them. So yeah, I spent the last year and a half while building community, just like learning how to perfect my own drawing style, because I never really drew like seriously before then. And I just kind of launched it with the launch of the project.
That's dope. That's pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell like you didn't draw that often, because to me, I mean, it just has a style, like a funk, like total vibes. It has its own vibe that I think matches with your music too. And the color scheme too, that palette. I don't know. It's not like super bright and bold. It's a little muted, and I don't know. I like that style. I feel like you don't see that often. So congrats, and I'll be looking out for those drops. I love that you also have the next 18 weeks planned out. Like, that's got to feel good too. So I don't know, Creatress, if you want to comment there too.
Yeah, no, I'm super stoked. To a few things that you mentioned, Jaden, like, I did notice you hosting really, really consistently on Twitter Spaces. Also noticed some of your spaces were like really long, which, I mean, major shout out to you as a host and as an artist to keep up to that like stamina in a space like just about your art. Like, oof. That is not an easy task. Even this space, we usually run it for an hour and a half. It's like, and it's only once a week. We don't even do it every day. So, doing even more than once a week hosting is like starts to feel like a lot on the host, I think. So just shout out for putting in the work and like really putting that time in for yourself and for your art, and making sure everybody like got to see it or hear it, and well, both see it and hear it. So yeah, definitely doesn't go unnoticed. And as most of you know, I operate on a very small shoestring budget for collecting. Otherwise, I would definitely have one of those. But yeah, no, it's just been really cool to see it, and I think putting your stuff on Spotify, that only helps elevate your music and your career, and just your stardom in general. I listen to Spotify. I have a subscription because my son and my partner also like to listen to music. We like to listen to podcasts. we often don't have Wi-Fi or cell signal, which this might seem kind of like random, but this is important, guys, because if you're ever somewhere where there's no cell signal or like any way to use your phone really, most of us want some kind of music at some point in that situation, right? And so being able to download music and to be able to play back your music even when you don't have cell service or Wi-Fi, I think is a kind of an important thing as someone who listens to music a lot. And so having your stuff on Spotify, like, oh, that's cool. Like at the end of the show, I'll go ahead and put that up on screen. And maybe I'll play a little snippet just to play us out. But yeah, I already pulled up your Spotify. I already liked the song. I'm gonna give you a follow. Like this is perfect. This is just another way for me to now have like really easy access to your music. This is perfect. Whereas before it's like, I appreciate the NFT 100%. I love it. I'm here for it. But this ease of use is great. So yeah, congrats on doing that, Jaden. Yeah, what else is going on? What else should we make sure to, keep an eye out for new projects or just anything that you're excited about?
Yeah, no, I really really appreciate that. I think man, in October, November, there were so many things going on, right? Because it was the release of the Rave Realm. We were planning the rave that we threw in Miami. We were, putting a lot of stuff together. We were organizing more UVR spaces, so it's not just the ones that I'm hosting, but now we have a network of other people hosting it as well. And I think now entering 2024, it's interesting because I was watching this podcast the other day, and I've been watching a lot more like entrepreneurial podcasts just because I just simply enjoy it, right? Because like I just enjoy watching that, right? I feel like there's a lot of gems about just life and stuff that you can take back into, your own processes and then your own brand building efforts. And I feel like now I'm taking on less things because this one person said on a podcast that as you start to build and as you start to grow, um, the people that are more successful than other people just learn to say no to more opportunities. And at first, I did not understand what that meant because I think the way that I was operating last year was like, I'll just say yes to every single thing. If I can say yes to every single thing, if it's a space, if it's an interview, if it's a in real life thing, whatever the case may be, I'll just say yes to every opportunity because that's going to increase my at bats at achieving this success, right? That was my thought process last year. And my schedule was packed, right? Like every single day, from morning to night, it was packed. But I had to really reflect on this idea of why was I in the same position at the end of 2023 than I was in the beginning of 2023. And I cannot have that same thing happen to me for the year of 2024. So I have to reevaluate, right? Because if I don't learn that lesson, I'm going to end up in the same exact position. And I realized that I love the bells. And I realized that, okay, the thing that I need to change is that I just need to say no to more things. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be so many people, there's so many opportunities, especially being in Web3 Twitter. There's opportunities left and right. You could spend the next 5 hours being in Farcaster and being in Warpcast and really build a following there. But you have to realize where is that time going to be taken out of in order for you to grow there. Right. So, like, now I'm in this position of like, okay, what's my one goal that if I accomplish this one goal, everything else does not matter, right? All these small things that I'm trying to build, all these little opportunities that I'm trying to take on, none of that's going to matter if we achieve this one big, big goal. And I'm sure anyone that's trying to build, right, you have that one goal in your mind. And for me, I had to sit down and I'm like, okay, the one goal for me is blowing up with my music, selling out a stadium of thousands of people, singing my song back to me. That's my end goal. And if I can achieve that, none of this shit that we're talking about on a day-to-day basis would matter in hindsight, right? Not this decentralized social shit, not this getting likes on Twitter, not a bunch of people listening to my spaces. None of that would matter if I was on a stage filled with thousands of people, right? So I was like, okay, why would I not utilize every single hour of my day optimizing to make that goal happen? And that's basically just a very, very long way of saying that right now, my day-to-day hours or my hour-to-hour basis is kind of just consisting of me making music and making content, making music and making content, and just really trying to figure out one, how I could better myself and my craft, and then two, how could I just make more unique content that will resonate with the world? And that's kind of just where I'm at right now.
I am all for that, Jaden. If you're watching the stream, you could have seen Creatress and I nodding our head the whole time, We resonate with that so much. And I think those are lessons we have learned ourselves in the Web3 space, is learning to not say yes to everything. Sometimes you got to say no, because you learn that, like, as you grow your following, your network, people align with you, they attach to you, and that's a positive thing. But some of the opposite thing that happens to is they want your time, they want you, they love you, of course, like that's awesome, but also too, you have to realize that your own time, your own energy is so sacred and so valuable that you can't put a price on that. Like, and sometimes not every opportunity is an opportunity that hits and that you had a great time. Like, we have to admit, there are things that, like, places, events, things that, like, we've gone to that was like not that great, right? Maybe we weren't treated as what we should have. Maybe things fell through in some sort of way, and you can't get that time back. And so I think as you grow,
That's
yeah,
time down the drain.
toilet. Time down the toilet, man. And like, you can't get that back. And so as you grow and as you mature and you find what you really want, then you start realizing, okay, that's not going to be the greatest for me right now, or maybe my time and my money is going to be spent better elsewhere, right? And so you got to make those sacrifices, and in the end you may disappoint some people, or people may feel sad you didn't show up or whatever, but it's for your own inner peace, and you know what's the best for you. And if you got your goal and you know what you need to do now to get there, then it just makes sense. And I think in the end, once people see you reach your goal, that really, how do I say this without saying the bad word, really messed with you, because I know we don't say the F word here. So they were down for you, right, the whole time. That they'll be the ones who are the loudest and biggest, cheerleaders for you. So I'm super happy and proud of you, Jaden, for like coming to that realization now. And I just, snaps and claps for you all around, because I think that's just the best thing you could be doing. That's awesome, because I'm right there with you. I'm saying no to things that a year or two ago I would have said yes, but I would have been burnt out, and I probably would have resonated, or have resentment. I mean, and that's not a good place to be at, right? You want to feel good about the things you do. So, yeah, I know Creatress probably has a thing or two to say about that as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had to keep dinging the bell every time you said something that I was just like, oh, that, like, y'all, I hope you heard that. So yeah, Jaden, I couldn't agree more. As also like a performing artist, obviously I'm not singing, but I'm like getting on stage, and it's a very similar, like, I often feel like I'm a musician only because it's like you're asking people for like the stage, you know what I'm saying? And then there's the whole part where I'm sure you've run into this. Maybe you haven't. I hope you haven't, but it seems to be pretty prevalent, Jaden, where people are like, we have this opportunity for you, but we have no budget. So we know you live in New York, but we got this really cool thing in let's say Denver, just because we were talking about Denver, or wherever, right? Like, hey, Jaden, there's this really cool opportunity for you to come sing in Dubai. Well, we got no money for you to make it out to Dubai. And then you're faced with that, decision. Do I say yes to this seemingly very cool opportunity? But then do I have the resources, or do I want to spend my resources, aka money and time, right, to go do this? Is it going to, right, like, further the goal? And I gotta say, like, for my first year in NFTs and in VR performance, I did like at least 10 free performances where I took my money and flew myself places, and put myself up and all that stuff, like invested in clothes and hardware and blah blah blah, right? And I knew that it was because I wanted to get better at performing in front of people, and I wanted to like get like experience, like just the experience. And I also wanted people to see it and actually see it in person, because it's different than seeing it in video, right? And I know that that was an investment, right? Because after I did that, then it's pretty easy for me to go to an event and be like, hey, I'd like to do this. And most people have heard of me doing it or have been there. And there is that rapport, right? And then I'm actually way better than I was the first time. So, it helped. But now my goal is a little bit different. It's not to take every single stage and every like opportunity for exposure, because now I want to do big stages like Jaden. You're saying you want to be on like in a huge stadium with people singing your song back like that. I want to be right there with you, making the art inspired by the music. You know what I'm saying? And not just obviously, to your music, but like all of the artists that really light me up and make me want to create visually, right? Because I can't sing. I mean, I try, but just trust me, I can't sing things that people want to hear. All
He
right.
does
People don't want.
karaoke, and that's good enough.
I do love karaoke, right? I love music. Jaden, you don't even understand. Like I go to a concert and I'm singing the whole time. And so, but I know that I'm not singing how someone wants to hear it on the radio, right? I am conscious enough to know that. So anyway, all that to say is I'm right there with you. This is the time to really like hone down on what we really want. I think about this all the time. I'm like, what if I die tomorrow? Then I never went and did the stadium. Like I never did this one, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like this sense of urgency. I don't know if you feel this, but like I feel a sense of urgency to really focus on the goal. But anyway, with that, with all that life lesson and pontificating, I want one last question, Jaden, because we do have to close out the space. What's the best way for people to support you right now? I know you said you're saying no to things, and so maybe I don't know, what would you say yes to, like, or what would help you in this time of your career right now?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I really, really do. Two things. One thing is, of course, if you want to listen to my music, that would mean the absolute world. And just sharing the music, you don't have to buy anything, just like literally listen to it. That'd be super sick. And the second thing, this is actually something that I don't talk about publicly at all. But I started to in very few select spaces, but like I started to actually like market for startups in Web3. And I think I've been really enjoying that. And I've been really fighting myself and not making content on that because I have to focus on the music and stuff. But I am a contractor for a couple startups when it comes to the marketing and stuff. And if someone approached me in that aspect, I would definitely be down because that's something that I'm actually trying to outbound and outreach and stuff to a lot of founders that I know. One, because I actually like it, and two, because I actually think it's gonna be valuable. So yeah, I would say that. But then yeah, on the music front, just like listen to the music. I think that would be like the sickest thing ever. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, of course. And one quick question. So what about performances? Like say some event, here's, be friends was here earlier. What if they wanted you to perform? Is that something that you're open to, or are you like saving it for when you're ready to like put on your own events or?
Oh no, I'm definitely down. I'm definitely down. Yeah, like anything, honestly, anything, reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I like anything at all. I will like. It's not like I'll be like, no, screw you. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I still would love to like hear anything. But to your point, right? Like a lot of people, like I got reached out the other day, and it's so funny you said Dubai because literally someone, there's I think there's a conference happening in Dubai, and they're like, yo, we would love for you to perform, but there's no like budget and stuff, and like for me, like it's like it sounds very glamorous to perform in Dubai, and it would be like, yeah, it would be so sick. But it's like you have to think about, what is your ROI from that, and like how much money you're going to spend, on the flight, on staying there, all this stuff. Like, yeah, you could get a cool photo. I'm performing in Dubai. It sounds nice, but it's like what, like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine how much you could do with the time and the money. So I had to politely decline. But yeah, for New York, 100%. Or anything, just yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you heard it here first. All right. So he is open to opportunities, but you got to come correct. All right. Make sure you got a budget. All right. We are in the era of the thriving artist, not the struggling or starving artist anymore. We're trying to do things different, right? So, yeah, no, that sounds great. And Jaden, that's hilarious. That is a hilarious coincidence that you literally got asked to do something in Dubai. I was just throwing that out there. Uh, but yeah, like guys, a flight to Dubai is like $3,000, like to go and then like perform for free. Like I'm like I don't like to get on the soapbox, but like we need to pay our performers, whether it's a live painter or it's a mime or it's a hypnotist or whether it's a musician just singing or if it's a musician playing guitar and singing. I don't care. Like if there's a band, you got to pay even more because that's how many flights, right? Like a flight to Dubai is probably like $3,000, guys.
And
Let's
I
be
mean,
real.
not just flight, also equipment fees, right? Like to bring them, checked in bags. Like if you got to bring your own equipment too, if it's the speakers, if it's the microphones, some airlines, you don't even get to bring your first 2 check bags for free. You still have to pay for those. And then on top of the equipment, like that adds up. So pay
True.
your artists to
Yeah,
come get a budget.
Not to mention the wardrobe. Like we gotta look cool too, Jaden. I'm sure you always look pretty cool. Those glasses cannot be cheap. Like guys, like we're not trying to be divas. Like this is basic stuff. We need a sandwich at some point. We're gonna need a little tea at some point. Like this is just basics, all right. So, and I say this with humor because if you don't laugh, you'll cry, right? Just kidding, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, Jaden, thank you so much for your time. We know you could be doing a lot of different things right now, so super appreciate you coming on the show. Keep a lookout. We do reruns throughout the week for those people who've missed it. They can tune in later, and so if you see that, don't get freaked out. Just know this is part of the programming. But yeah, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that we see you out on the road, the event circuit this year. Definitely New York. Sounds like we all see you in New York, and we'll definitely keep you in mind for any opportunities that I hear of. So, yeah, Val, any last words?
Yeah, with this whole conversation, I just want to say as well, thank you, Jaden, for being our guest today. As we said, time is so sacred. We can't get it back, once it's already been spent. So we really hope that you had a good time, at least shared some laughs, and, so glad we got to connect again. So definitely don't be a stranger. Keep us up to date on everything that's going on. Let us know if you make it down to Hawaii, because Creatures is in Maui, or if you're down here in San Diego or LA. Definitely can make it out to any shows that you have over here, and then hopefully maybe we'll see you in New York. I think that's gonna be a yes. I think we, like Creature said, we've got some things we're planning, so I think we'll see you there. But other than that, thank you so much, everyone who's tuned in, and to all the people who popped in and out. We appreciate you. This is episode 5 of season 3. There's layers to this. Also want to make sure we give a special shout out to our other co-host who couldn't be here with us today. He's a little sick, aka Tyler, who works for his cryptoed boss, Lorenzo. He's an awesome sponsor of our show. There's layers to this. So want to give him a shout out, and hope he recovers soon, because he's definitely missed on their show. And have a great rest of the week, everyone. We had a good time. But yeah, let's hear some tunes from Jaden Creature.
Stylish is my dancer for you. Stylish is my trancer. I'm good. No, we had the world, baby. Others too. And now you are forgetful, you loser. Baby, can you come back? I need to know your pseudo. If you're here to feel alive, don't know why you asking who to.